In the year 2257, Earth was no longer just a blue dot in the vast cosmos. It had become a nexus of galactic politics and commerce. Humans had spread their influence far beyond the solar system, yet they had also learned to be cautious. Alien contacts were frequent, but not all were friendly. Amid this cosmic dance of diplomacy and conflict, an unexpected visitor breached Earth's orbital defenses. The visitor was not a sleek spaceship or a meteorite, but a being, a warrior from a species known as the Trivaxians. His ship, a battle-scarred escape pod, crashed into the dense forests of North America, causing minimal attention due to its small size and the remote crash site. The alien, named Saran, was a towering figure, even by Trivaxian standards. Standing nearly 10 feet tall, with a muscular frame covered in scales that shimmered like dark emeralds under the Earth's sun. Saran was designed for battle. However, his eyes, a striking shade of gold, betrayed a depth of emotion uncommon for a warrior bred only for combat. Upon emerging from his crippled pod, Saran knew he was on Earth, a world he had learned about during his military training as a place of significant strategic importance, but also one of unpredictable elements. What he hadn't anticipated was his own condition, wounded, weaponless, and utterly alone. As the news of the aliens' arrival spread, a special unit of the Earth Defense Force, EDF, was dispatched to the site. Trained for such encounters, the team approached with caution, armed and ready for a confrontation. The world watched, as live feeds from drones hovered silently above the scene. Captain Elena Marquez was the first to spot Saran. She signaled her team to hold their fire. With slow, deliberate steps, she approached the alien warrior. Her voice was calm, her words transmitted through a universal translator clipped to her belt. "Saran of Trivax, you are injured and far from home. We mean you no harm," Elena announced, standing a safe distance away, her hands clearly visible and away from her weapon. Saran, understanding her words but skeptical of her intentions, remained silent. His gaze shifted from Elena to the circle of human soldiers surrounding him, each clad in advanced combat gear, their faces obscured by visors and helmets. "Why should I trust you, human?" Saran's voice boomed, rough and resonant, the translator struggling slightly with his deep tones. "Because you have no other choice if you wish to survive," Elena replied, her gaze steady. "We can offer you medical attention and shelter. In return, we ask for information about your origins and why you are here." Saran considered her words. Back on his home planet, Trivax, showing weakness could be fatal. But here, wounded and isolated, pride had to take a back seat to pragmatism. With a heavy grunt, he nodded slightly. "I will accept your aid, Captain. But know this. I am not here to bring harm. I am merely a warrior who has lost everything." As Saran followed Elena back to their mobile base, the world continued to watch. The interaction, streamed live across various platforms, sparked a myriad of reactions. Some feared the implications of harboring an alien warrior, while others were moved by the display of human kindness towards a being so clearly in distress. In the safety of the EDF's temporary base, Saran's wounds were treated by medics equipped with technology that could adapt to his alien physiology. As he healed, the story of his arrival and the initial encounter with the humans began to circulate, raising questions and fears about what his presence meant for Earth. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the ripples of his crash landing reached far and wide, stirring forces that would soon turn their eyes towards Earth. Intrigued by the planet that had shown kindness to a warrior who had lost everything. While Saran recuperated under the watchful eyes of Earth's medical team, Captain Elena Marquez prepared for the diplomatic repercussions of harboring an alien warrior. Despite the universal curiosity and compassion that Saran's situation had stirred, not everyone was comfortable with the alien's presence on Earth. Security briefings were laden with concerns about potential threats, not just from Saran, but from whatever or whoever might come looking for him. In a high-security room within the EDF's mobile base, Saran sat across from Elena and a team of Earth's top xenopolitical strategists. The room was stark, utilitarian, designed to be intimidating, yet Elena had made efforts to soften its harshness with subtle lighting and a less formal seating arrangement. "Saran, Can you tell us about the conflict that led you here? Elena asked, her tone a mix of professional curiosity and genuine concern. Saran's eyes, still adjusting to the dim Earth light, narrowed as he recounted his tale. My planet, Trivax, has been torn by war for generations, two factions fighting for control over our resources and our people. I was a commander in the Royal Guard, sworn to protect the ruling family, but betrayal within our ranks led to a massacre. My family, my comrades, lost. I fled, not out of cowardice, but to survive and perhaps to someday avenge the fallen. His story resonated with an old, all too familiar echo in Elena's mind. Earth had seen its share of conflicts, and the scars left by wars were not easily healed. She noted the parallels quietly, aware that every piece of information Saran provided was a thread in a larger geopolitical tapestry. And what of the faction that now holds power in Trivax? One of the strategists inquired, tapping notes into a device. They are ruthless, seeking not just to control Trivax, but to dominate other planets within our reach. My presence here is unintentional, yet it may be fortuitous. If you are willing, perhaps we can help each other against common threats. The suggestion of an alliance was a heavy one, laden with potential benefits and risks. Earth's council would need to be involved, and the alien dynamics that Saran brought with him would require careful navigation. As the discussions continued elsewhere, unbeknownst to Saran and the humans, a signal pulsed quietly from the wreckage of his escape pod. It was a beacon, and it had been broadcasting since his arrival. Deep in space, a sleek warship received the faint signal. Inside, the commander, a Trivaxian of high rank, stared at the blinking coordinates, his face a mask of resolve and vengeance. "Set course for Earth," he commanded, his voice void of hesitation. "We will retrieve the traitor, and if the humans choose to harbor our enemy, they too will feel the might of Trivax." Back on Earth, the notion of an alliance began to take shape. Elena and her team weighed the strategic advantages of aligning with Saran against the potential backlash from other galactic powers. Saran, for his part, knew the risks he brought to this peaceful planet. His eyes often drifted to the stars at night, wondering if the peace he had found here was merely the calm before a storm. But he also felt a burgeoning loyalty to these humans who had offered him kindness without immediate reward. As the EDF prepared for the complexities of interstellar diplomacy, Elena made it clear to her superiors and to Saran that Earth would stand firm, not just for its own sake, but for the principles it upheld. This would not just be a military alliance, but a testament to Earth's commitment to justice and sanctuary. The stage was set for profound changes, both on Earth and across the stars, as forces gathered, each driven by their own motives and the inevitable clash of desires and destinies. As Earth's leaders convened in a secure underground facility designed for interstellar negotiations, the atmosphere was charged with a mix of anticipation and concern. The room, circular and lined with holographic displays, allowed the participants to view data and simulations of potential outcomes based on the evolving situation with Saran and the looming threat from Trivax. Captain Elena Marquez, now acting as Earth's primary liaison with Saran, briefed the assembly on the details of their discussions. Saran has proposed an alliance that may be critical in the face of Trivaxian aggression. His knowledge of their military capabilities and strategies could be invaluable, she explained, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. Meanwhile, Saran stood in a secluded part of the EDF base, gazing out at Earth's skyline. The alien landscape, so different from the war-torn vistas of Trivax, stirred a sense of protectiveness he hadn't anticipated. He knew the decision to engage in an alliance with Earth would have repercussions beyond military strategies. It could shift the balance of power in their region of the galaxy. In the depths of space, the Trivaxian warship made its silent voyage towards Earth. Its commander, a hardened veteran named General Vorek, monitored the progress with an unwavering focus. His ship was not alone. It had been joined by vessels from two other species, the Zaltrons and the Kreloks, who saw an opportunity in forming a temporary coalition. Their shared goal, to capture Saran and quell the rise of Earth as a potential power broker in the galaxy. Back on Earth, the leaders debated the terms of the alliance with Saran. Legal and ethical implications were discussed, alongside strategic ones. Elena advocated for a defensive pact, emphasizing the need for Earth to maintain its sovereignty and principles of justice. "We must not become conquerors in seeking to defend ourselves," she urged, her conviction resonating through the room. As the talks progressed, the EDF's orbital sensors detected the approaching fleet. Alarms sounded, and the meeting was abruptly paused. Real-time images of the approaching ships filled the holographic screens, their advanced designs and the sheer number of vessels sending a clear message of the impending threat. Elena's phone buzzed, a direct line from Earth's outer defense network. The voice on the other end was crisp and urgent. "Captain Marquez, we have a situation. The alien fleet is demanding we hand over the Trivaxian refugee Saran or face immediate hostilities." With little time to deliberate, Earth's leaders made a swift decision. They would not surrender Saran. Instead, they would prepare to defend their world and uphold their new alliance. The EDF mobilized, sending alerts to all units to assume defensive positions, while diplomats worked feverishly to contact other galactic entities for support. Saran, informed of the situation, insisted on joining the defense efforts. His experience as a military commander could give Earth an edge, but more than that, he felt a duty to stand with those who had shown him kindness in his darkest hour. As the alien fleet neared, Earth's forces readied themselves for what could be their first major interstellar conflict. Saran stood alongside Elena, both on the command deck of the EDF's flagship, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy held for them. Together, they would show that Earth was not just a sanctuary, but a force of resilience and courage in the face of overwhelming odds. The skies above Earth darkened as the Trivaxian-led coalition fleet entered geostationary orbit, their massive hulls casting vast shadows across continents. The sight of such a formidable force hovering in space sent ripples of fear through the world's populations, their anxieties broadcast live as every eye turned skyward. In the command center of the EDF flagship, Saran and Elena surveyed the tactical displays, a constellation of red and green dots illustrating the grim scenario unfolding. "General Vorek doesn't bluff. He will attack, and soon," Saran murmured, his voice tinged with a mix of resolve and regret. Elena nodded, her fingers drumming on the console. "Then we won't give him the opportunity to set the terms. Launch the interceptors and deploy the orbital shields. We need to protect major cities and strategic bases first. Saran, your insight into their tactics could help us counter their initial strikes." As Earth's defenses sprang to life, swarms of interceptors shot into the sky, weaving through incoming fire from the alien ships. Orbital defense platforms, a network of satellites equipped with energy shields and long-range weapons, shifted into defensive formations, casting protective barriers over key areas. Saran, analyzing the enemy's formation, pointed to a vulnerability in their flanks. Trivaxian ships have robust front shields but weaker side armor. A coordinated strike there could disrupt their formation. Elena relayed the strategy to the fleet, her voice a calm command amidst the chaos. Squadrons of Earth's fighters adjusted their trajectories, swooping through space to exploit the weakness Saran had identified. The ensuing skirmish lit up the void with brilliant flashes of energy and debris. On the ground, citizens watched as streaks of light crisscrossed the sky. Emergency shelters filled while community leaders tried to maintain order, their efforts supported by broadcasts from government officials assuring the public of the ongoing defense. Amidst the battle, diplomatic channels buzzed with activity. Earth's allies in the Galactic Union, hesitant at first to engage, began to see the invasion as a destabilizing threat to regional security. Negotiators worked tirelessly to sway the Union to intervene, their arguments underscored by real-time footage of Earth's resistance. General Vorek, observing the battle from his command ship, frowned at the unexpected resilience displayed by Earth's forces. "Increase firepower. Bring in the Krelox cruisers. I want that planet subdued," he ordered, his voice a cold snarl. Back on the flagship, alarms blared as a new wave of enemy ships joined the fray. The situation was becoming desperate. Elena glanced at Saran, who stood steadfast, his expression one of fierce determination. "We're not just defending a planet, Elena. We're defending a home. My home now, too, he said, his hand briefly squeezing her shoulder in solidarity. Renewed by Saran's words, Elena addressed her crew with renewed vigor. This is our home, and today we fight not just for Earth, but for the sanctity of life everywhere. Stand firm! The battle escalated, with both sides suffering losses. Earth's technological prowess and strategic positioning began to turn the tide, their coordinated defenses and counterstrikes holding the invaders at bay. As the conflict reached its zenith, a message from the Galactic Union came through. "Support is coming," it read. A fleet of Union ships, armed and ready for combat, had entered the system, tipping the scales further in Earth's favor. With the Union's arrival, the dynamics shifted dramatically. The Coalition fleet, realizing the cost of continuing the fight against a newly bolstered Earth, began to retreat. General Vorek, his gaze steely and unyielding, issued the order to withdraw, but not without a parting threat. "This is not over, Earth. We will return." As the alien ships pulled back, Earth's forces, along with their Galactic Union allies, secured the skies. The immediate threat was over, but the victory was sobering. There would be no return to normalcy, not when Earth had declared itself a protector of the oppressed, a beacon in the dark reaches of space. Saran and Elena watched the retreating ships, aware that the battle won today was just the beginning of a larger war. But for now, Earth had survived, and more than that, it had proven its mettle in the cosmic arena. In the aftermath of the battle, the Earth's command center buzzed with a mix of relief and unyielding resolve. The invasion had been thwarted, but the threat lingered like a shadow, hinting at future conflicts. Elena and Saran, now battle-tested allies, reviewed the battle's data streams, analyzing enemy tactics and Earth's responses to prepare for what was clearly becoming an inevitable return engagement. The Galactic Union's intervention had been a pivotal factor in the battle's outcome, and now, diplomatic efforts intensified. Delegations from various planets converged on Earth, their ships gracing the sky with a display of solidarity and mutual interest. Elena found herself at the center of these diplomatic engagements, representing Earth's newfound status on the galactic stage. In the vast hall of the United Nations, transformed into an interstellar council chamber, representatives from across the galaxy gathered. The air was thick with a mixture of languages and the soft whir of translation devices. Saran stood beside Elena, his imposing figure drawing curious looks from many alien delegates. Saran's first-hand account of Travaxian tyranny has opened the eyes of many here today, Elena whispered to her team as they prepared for the opening speeches. "We must leverage this momentum to forge stronger ties and prepare a unified front." As the council session began, Elena stepped up to the podium, her presence commanding attention. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings, today marks a new chapter in galactic cooperation. Earth stands ready to contribute to and benefit from our shared resources, knowledge, and defenses. The recent attack has shown that none of us can stand alone against threats that seek to dominate and destroy." Her speech was met with nods and murmurs of agreement. The recent crisis had made it clear that isolated policy was a risk no one could afford. Meanwhile, General Vorek regrouped with his coalition forces in a distant sector, the sting of defeat fresh in his mind. "We underestimated Earth's capabilities and their rapid diplomatic maneuvers. We won't make the same mistake twice," he declared to his assembly. Plans were drawn and spies dispatched. The war was far from over, and Vorek was determined to reclaim his position and power. Back on Earth in a secure facility, Saran collaborated with Earth's top military strategists to form a comprehensive defense doctrine. Trivaxian war strategies are deeply ingrained. "I can help you anticipate their moves," Saran offered, his commitment to Earth's cause now as fierce as any vow he had once held for Trivax. In the days that followed, Earth's alliances grew. Trade agreements and mutual defense treaties were signed, technology exchanges were set up, and strategic bases began to sprout on moons and in orbit around key planets. The Galactic Union, recognizing Earth's pivotal role in repelling the invasion, granted Earth a seat at the High Council, a move that solidified Earth's place in the cosmic order. As the sun set over New York, casting a golden glow over the skyline, Elena and Saran took a moment to reflect on the rooftop of the UN building. The city below bustled with life, seemingly untouched by the cosmic conflicts, but both knew the fragility of this peace. "We've done well, Saran, but the road ahead is long and uncertain," Elena said, her eyes scanning the horizon. Saran nodded, his gaze also fixed on the sunset. "Yes, but remember, Elena, on Trivax we have a saying. From the fiercest storms come the strongest warriors. Earth has weathered this storm. It will stand strong in whatever comes next." As the stars began to twinkle above, signaling the arrival of night, the duo turned back to the lit chamber where the world's and galaxy's leaders continued their deliberations. Each step they took was a testament to Earth's readiness to face the cosmos not as a victim, but as a vital force, a defender of its sovereignty and a protector of its allies. In the war room of Earth's newly established Interstellar Defense Headquarters, the atmosphere was charged with a mix of intense focus and cautious optimism. Elena, Saran, and their team of international and interstellar experts monitored the array of digital displays that lined the walls, each screen streaming real-time data from surveillance satellites and scout ships patrolling the edges of the solar system. The coalition forces led by General Vorek had been quiet, perhaps regrouping or reassessing their strategy after the unexpected show of unity and strength from Earth and its allies. Despite the lull, no one in the room dared to relax. The silence was too ominous to be taken as anything but the calm before another storm. "Continuous vigilance is our best strategy now," Elena addressed the room. "We've shown that we can hold our ground, but we must be prepared for Vorek's next move, whenever that may come." Saran, now a trusted advisor, added, "Vorek is prideful but not foolish. He will strike again, but only when he believes he can win. Our task is not just to anticipate, but to innovate, to stay one step ahead in this chess game." The discussions were interrupted by an urgent communication from a Galactic Union envoy. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a serene-faced ambassador. "Earth and its esteemed council, we have intelligence suggesting that General Vorek is amassing a larger coalition. He's seeking not just to conquer, but to destabilize the balance of power within the Union itself." This new information prompted a flurry of activity. Strategy maps were updated, and potential scenarios were simulated with the latest artificial intelligence algorithms. Earth's leaders proposed a summit, inviting leaders from throughout the galaxy to form a more robust mutual protection pact. The stakes were higher than ever, but Earth's proactive diplomacy opened channels that had previously been mired in suspicion or rivalry. As the preparations for the summit went underway, Elena and Saran took a moment to assess their personal journeys through this tumultuous time. From adversaries to allies, their bond had been forged in the fires of conflict and now stood as a beacon of the potential for unity amidst diversity. The day of the summit arrived, with delegates from numerous planetary systems gathering. The venue was the Great Hall of the United Nations, now retrofitted to accommodate species of different environmental needs. The air buzzed with a babble of languages, both spoken and transmitted telepathically, showcasing the diversity of life within the galaxy. Elena, leading the summit, delivered a compelling call to action. "Let us not be defined by the wars we fight, but by the peace we create. Today we stand together, not just to defend against a common enemy, but to forge a future where cooperation is the cornerstone of our existence." The resolution passed at the summit was historic, establishing a multi-species fleet known as the Galactic Defense Alliance, GDA, with Earth as a central command hub. The GDA would not only defend against aggressors, but also work to mediate conflicts and aid in crises throughout the galaxy. As the summit concluded, Saran and Elena watched the representatives mingle, their earlier tensions eased by shared goals and new understandings. "We've started something momentous, Elena," Saran remarked, his voice tinged with awe and a hint of relief. "Yes, we have," Elena replied, her eyes bright with a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. "But the real work begins now, ensuring this alliance holds and expands, transforming hope into lasting peace." As the delegates departed, the skies above New York shimmered with the lights of departing spacecraft, each a silhouette against the